So I've been the reserve manager here in Buddy Maya Country for 4 years. Before that, I was based in Geraldton working in natural resource management. Now, one of the really unique things about Charles Darwin Reserve is its connection to Charles Darwin and how we ended up purchasing it. So about 20 years ago, Chris Darwin, who is the great-great-grandson of Charles Darwin, wanted to support bush heritage and purchase a property. So one of our amazing volunteers grabbed Chris and said, "Hey mate, I've got this amazing property that I think you might be interested in helping purchase." So Chris and some of his friends managed to get the funds together and they helped us purchase this reserve 20 years ago. We actually had a big celebration with them last year so that we could celebrate all of the great work that we've been doing here to protect all of the amazing wildlife that's here. So this is a stumper, this one. My role is really varied. I do media things like this. I organise activities with volunteers to help with our monitoring. I do on-ground activities like track care, weed control, pest control. Also get to do a lot of ecological monitoring, which I love. I'm out in the field, sometimes stuck in the office, especially when it's really hot. And I kind of do like that because I get to look at my camera data. So there are over 600 plants on the reserve and around 250 animals that we've recorded. We're finding new ones all the time. Some of the threatened animals we have here are the malleefowl, a really unique ground-dwelling bird. Going to come up, you'll see it on the driver's side, is one of my motion sensor cameras, just at knee height. Have them out all year round, and about every 2 months, I go change the batteries and the SD card. And then from that SD card, I get those photos that we were looking at in the office. I monitor about 150 mounds, and of those this year, about 10% of them are active. But that's not the whole population because it's not the whole reserve, it's just indicative. The interesting thing about emus, it's the father that looks after the chicks. It's also the father that sits on the nest as well. So the female and the male, you know, they mate, and the female lays the eggs, and then pretty much she's off scot-free. I've got to say, I think the emus have the right way of doing it. Yeah. So here you can see a dingo. We do have dingoes on the reserve. We don't bait for them. They are an apex predator and they help in the control of the foxes, the cats and the rabbits. Nice when I see them on the cameras. So one of the big threats to Australian wildlife, to Australian plants, is fire. When we purchased the property 20-ish years ago, a fire ripped through half the reserve. Straight down from the west across, it was a summer fire, lightning strike, dry storm, and we're concerned that that could happen again because the weather conditions have been really similar these past couple of years. And there's a lot of leaf litter. So we're actually doing a controlled burn this year. But we're not doing this alone. We're working with the Buddy Maya elders and Buddy Maya Barndi Barna Aboriginal Corporation so that we can incorporate cultural knowledge into that burn. So we're almost at the woodland. This is the acacia shrub stuff. This is malleefowl habitat. We're like the northern extent of salmon gums. There's a couple of pockets of them across the reserve. You'll notice that there's a bit of decline happening. You know, potentially they're just old and that's happening, but we are in this transition location between the arid area and the southwest woodlands, so potentially climate change is affecting them. We are going to be doing some woodland surveys this year in the salmon gums and in the York gums, just to take some measurements so that we can start to see what's actually happening and then potentially change what we actually do on the ground so that we can help protect them. It's really nice being able to share this. And I suppose that's the whole thing with bush heritage and why we purchase these places, so that, you know, they're there for future generations to enjoy.